Good afternoon, this is Sam Green with Zamma, coming to you with another installment of vinyl moldings. What we're looking at is a fairly new category, one that's really charging these days, and that is the luxury vinyl. It's a product that offers us a lot of performance factors that we don't get in traditional laminates or hardwood for that fact. It's made of different composites, very good looking stuff, embossed in register, but one of the nice things is because of what it's made of, it is waterproof. And with a lot of the weather scenarios we have going on these days, waterproof is something that's very attractive. So we want a molding that's going to be waterproof as well. So we have our PVC molding that will come in a blister pack. You'll get the molding itself, you'll get a steel track, and you'll also get anchors, screws and anchors that will all come together in this pack for installation, easy installation. Basically, a little bit how the molding is made. We're going to take beads or powder, and much like you did as a kid or your children do with their Play-Doh set, we're going to heat this up to a certain consistency and force it through a mold, and it's going to give us different shapes. Where we've got the reducer, you'll have a T-molding, you'll have stair nose, all waterproof PVC. One of the nice things that we do at Zamma that's a little different, in order to make sure that we're getting good matching and coordinating colors, we're actually going to source the vinyl, the decor films, from the flooring manufacturer. So this just happens to be a random piece that I have, but basically we're going to source this. It will be the exact same picture, the exact same decor that's applied to the particular floor. We're going to process it in-house with a commercial grade overlay, so we're getting the same wear and tear and performance properties, sometimes even better than you're getting on the floor. So it makes it easy for us to process. We're doing all this in-house, so we have control over the quality of the product. It's consistent and very high. But once we decide what shape we're going to need, we've got our film process with the overlay, and we're basically going to adhere it to that respective shape. In this case, we need a reducer, so that's what we're going to do. We've got our floors installed, and we're reducing it down to something that's just lower than our floor itself, from one height to another. I want to find out spacing on this. I can insert my track, but what I want to do, just to make sure, usually you'll have enough material in your molding, which is 6 feet long in that package, that you can cut some small pieces, 3/4 of an inch or so. And what I'll do is, once I determine the length, I'm going to snap these in, and basically they're spacers. So now I can put my molding in, put my track in rather, and see exactly where my molding will finish. I can use that when I'm initially building the floor as well. If I want to go ahead and put my track in place with the spacers, I can see where I need to cut my finished piece, this last piece, in that pass-through or in that doorway. One of the nice things about the Zamma track is the fact that it is a snap track. It's patented, and hopefully you can see this, but every 4 inches we're going to have a notch basically in that product. So what that does is allow me to take the molding at that score mark and basically break it without any tools. It's nice, it's easy. This too is something that we do in-house. So at the 4-inch marks, that will accommodate basically every door in your house. Most of your doors are going to be 32 inches, which works out perfect. But even if you get something that's a little bit different, usually the most you will see is what you do is you take your piece and you'll center it, and you'll have a 1-inch space on each side, which is perfectly acceptable. So with this, I'm going to insert this. I've got my drill. Since I'm on wood, I don't have to use my anchors. I want to give myself a little bit of space. Insert the screw. And this thing fights me every time. I'm careful when I'm putting the screws in. I want to make sure they're seated and they're solid, but if you tend to over tighten them, the track will collapse. You're especially on wood. When you tighten it down, it will close that track up and pinch it tight so that it's difficult to put your piece of molding in. Basically, I want to take these out, and they're in there pretty solid. One of the nice things too about these moldings is there are notches on either side of this leg, which allows us to adjust the height. It's going to snap in at different levels and lock down tight, depending on the height of the floor, whatever variation I've got in the floor. It'll accommodate a lot of different things, a lot of different scenarios, because it's adjustable. So basically, once I've cut my piece of molding to fit, I'm going to take my reducer. I'm going to start at one side. I want to get one side in tight where it goes, and I'm going to I'll usually just take a rubber mallet, tap that down. A lot of times even the back end of your regular hammer will be rubber, and you can insert the track or insert the molding into the track that way. Once you get it in and locked in that cold rolled steel, it is not going anywhere. It is a permanent installation and will perform for the rest of the life of the floor. So nice product there. Again, you've got the same performance properties as the floor. You've got a waterproof molding as well. I will generally, although this is the last thing that I install, most of the time, if not all the time, if I have the product available, I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece to fit in the respective doorways. The beauty of these new floors is that they've got a lot of variety from one plank to the next, a lot of color variation, which adds to the realism. Well, we want to blend this in. Obviously, this is just a random color, but if we want to blend it in, if I know what piece of molding is going in this doorway, I can pick and choose in the boxes of planks and pick the plank that's going to fit best next to that molding. So basically, I'm blending to the floor. I'm making the floor match the molding, not the molding match the floor. So with that said, I hope that helps, and I hope you have a good day.